The first time she saw him, she was in the business lounge at Heathrow, gate B42, 2 hours before a flight she didn't want to take. He was sitting across the room with a coffee and a paperback, and he looked up once, just once, and held her gaze for exactly the kind of moment that has no casual explanation. Then he looked back at his book. She boarded her flight. She didn't think about him again for 3 weeks. The second time was in Singapore, Changi Airport, Terminal 1, the quiet bar beside Gate D7. She was eating alone, watching the lights of planes out on the dark runway. He sat down 2 stools away from her. She recognized him before he recognized her, which gave her approximately 4 seconds to decide what to do with her face. He looked up. Something flickered. He smiled. Not the easy practice smile of a man who does this often, but the slower, quieter kind that only comes from genuine surprise. They talked for 2 hours. She missed her connection. She told herself it was coincidence, both times. The third time was Paris. She walked into the lounge at Charles de Gaulle and stopped in the doorway because he was already there, and he was already looking at the door, as though he had wondered whether this was the kind of thing that happened 3 times. He stood up. He said, and she would think about this for a long time afterwards, he said, "I think the universe is trying to tell us something, and I keep agreeing with it." She laughed. She sat down. They talked until the lounge emptied. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, Paris at night was gold and gray and indifferent to the two of them in their quiet corner. He told her he was an architect. She told him she consulted for a hospitality company, hence always airports, always transit, always somewhere between two places. He said he understood that. He said he'd spent 5 years feeling like that even when he was standing still. She didn't ask him about anyone else. He didn't either. Some things you leave in the departure lounge. At some point, the bar closed around them. A member of staff brought their coats over, very gently, which was when she realized it had been 4 hours. At the gate, they stood facing each other, and she thought, this is the kind of moment you spend years trying to describe to someone and never quite getting right. The specific texture of it, the warmth of it, the fact that she didn't want to move first. He said, "Give me something so this doesn't end in an airport." She wrote her number on the back of a boarding pass stub. It was absurd. She was 34 years old and she was writing her number on a boarding pass stub at 11 p.m. in a French airport, and it was the most deliberate thing she had done in years. She walked to her gate. She didn't look back. She had learned by now that the moment you look back, you give something away that you can't quite get back. Her phone lit up before she boarded. One word. Finally.